Hello and welcome back to our online English class. So today we are going to go over lessons E and F, and we're also going to review units 7 and 8. So let's take a look at page 104 in your student's book, page 104. Okay, so let me actually make this into one page. All right, and then I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, so it says, before you write, talk with a partner. Who do you send thank you emails to? Make a list and share your list with the class. But of course, you can't share with the class, and that's fine. You can just practice on your own or share with someone in your family. So let's just brainstorm. Who do we send thank you emails to normally? So you might send a thank you email or a thank you letter to a job interviewer, as you can see here. We might also send thank you emails and letters to people who gave us gifts or presents for our birthday or our children's birthdays. We might send thank you emails and letters to people who attended a wedding, our wedding, or another important gathering, important event. So those are some people we might send thank you emails and letters to. But let's take a look at letter B. Let's read this thank you email. I'm going to zoom in one more time. Okay, so it says, "Dear Ms. Hill, I would like to thank you for the job interview I had with you on Monday, September 29th. I appreciate the time you spent with me. Thank you for showing me around the store and introducing me to some of the employees. I felt very comfortable with them. Thank you again for your time. I hope to hear from you soon. Sincerely, Eden Babayan." Okay, so let's take a look at these questions. Okay, who wrote the email? Okay, who wrote the email? And you should be very familiar with this question because I ask you these questions all the time. So this should be pretty quick. So you should say, Eden wrote the email, or Eden Babayan wrote the email. Okay, and if you remember, we read Eden's blog post or Eden's blog during our last lesson. So we can see that she followed up with Ms. Hill, who was the interviewer, and that's always a good habit. And maybe it'll get you the job, maybe it won't, but either way, it's a very polite thing to do. Okay, so go ahead and take some time to complete the rest of the questions and make complete sentences. Okay, write complete sentences, and then when you're finished, you can continue the video. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at number 2. Who did she write it to? Okay, so in this case, it is, of course, the email. All right, so who did she write the email to, or who did she write it to? Excuse me. So we can answer, she wrote it to Ms. Hill. Okay, so remember that this is past tense, did. So we have to say she wrote. So did plus write is wrote. She wrote it to Ms. Hill. Okay? And then number 3, what is the purpose of the email? So we can say the purpose of the email is to thank Ms. Hill for interviewing her. Okay, so the purpose of the email is to thank Ms. Hill for interviewing her, or to thank Ms. Hill for the interview. Okay, and you might have a little bit different structure or a different wording, and that's okay. And then number 4, what information is in the first sentence. Okay, so the first sentence is right here, of course. We might say, the reason for the email is in the first sentence. Okay, the reason for the email is in the first sentence. Okay, because we can see here that it says, I would like to thank you for the job interview I had with you on Monday, September 29th. So this is the reason why she is sending this email. So we can say the reason for the interview is in the first sentence. And again, as I mentioned, you probably have some different sentences too, and that's okay. You can say the first sentence includes the reason for her interview. I'm sorry, the reason for her email. Okay. And then, or you can even say the first sentence includes a thank you message. But she actually says thank you many times. So it's probably better to say the first sentence includes the reason for her email. So number 5, how many times did the writer say thank you? So actually, I just said this, but she says thank you several times. If you look, it's 3. 1, 2, and 3. So we can say the writer said thank you 3 times. The writer said thank you, or you can say she said thank you 3 times. Okay? And then number 6, what does Eden want to happen next? Okay? What does Eden want to happen next? So if you look here, you can say, you can see that it says, I hope to hear from you soon. So we can say, she wants to hear back from Ms. Hill. Okay? She wants to hear back from Ms. Hill. Or she wants to hear from Ms. Hill soon. She wants to hear from Ms. Hill soon. And you can include about the job interview. She wants to hear from Ms. Hill soon about the job interview. Okay, and then number 7, how does the writer end the email? Okay, so we can say she ends the email by thanking Ms. Hill again. Or you can say she ends the email by saying thank you again. So you can see here, thank you again for your time. I hope to hear from you soon. So she says thank you several times, but she ends by saying thank you again. And that's very common when we are writing a thank you email. At the end, we normally say thank you one more time. Okay, so let's go to the next page. And this is actually an activity of writing a formal thank you email to a person or a business. But this one I can't really check anyway, so you can just do this on your own when you have time. But make sure you include why you are thanking the person. So that's usually in the first sentence. Just like with Eden's email, the first sentence included the reason she was writing the email, or the reason for thanking Ms. Hill. And then also make sure you mention something specific that you appreciate. So don't just say thank you for everything. That's very common to say thank you for all that you do, thank you for everything, and that's okay. It's good to say that, but it's very helpful, and the person who receives it usually appreciates when you mention something specific. So right now it's Teacher Appreciation Month, so if you are sending thank you notes or emails to your children's teachers, it would be good to include something specific, like, thank you for writing encouraging notes for my children when they complete their homework. Something like that, something that's specific, instead of thank you for all your hard work, because all teachers probably get notes like that. Thank you for all your hard work. And again, that's good, but it's helpful to include something more specific. Okay, and then finally, make sure you include another thank you at the end of the email or letter. Okay, so actually, you know, this is a really great activity that you can practically use in real life, like I mentioned, to your children's teachers. That would be a great way to end the school year, which is coming up in a couple of weeks, and also to appreciate your children's teachers this month. Okay, so let's move on to lesson F. Okay, another view. So this is on page 106 in your student's book. So you can see a chart, and the title is Occupational Projections and Worker Characteristics. That's a lot of hard words. But occupational means related to a job. As you can see, occupation is the same word as job. And projections means like it's like something that you can guess about the future based on numbers that you have now. So projections are numbers about the future or guesses about the future. And then worker characteristics. So this you should know already. You probably already know. But let's take a look at some of the occupations. We have automotive service technicians and mechanics. And then we have dental hygienists, food service managers, medical assistants, retail salespersons, and veterinary technologists and technicians. Lots of hard words. But you can see the next category is job openings due to growth and replacements from 2014 to 2024. So based on the numbers we have from 2014, we can project or guess based on 2014 what we will see in 2024, and that's the future. And then we can see in the next category percent employment change from 2014 through 2024. Let me make a note here. You can see an asterisk or a star in this category, and if you look at the asterisk at the bottom, it means numbers in thousands. So even though it says 237, this means 237,000. Okay, and then finally, in the last category, we have typical education needed for entry. Okay, so that means that in order to enter into this field, you need to have post-secondary technical non-degree award, or you need to have a post-secondary technical non-degree award. And I know that's really difficult to understand, but basically it means that you can have some sort of a certification or some kind of training after high school. Post-secondary means after graduating from high school. So like college is post-secondary, a technical college is post-secondary, and vocational training is post-secondary. Those are, but some of them are non-degrees, meaning you don't need a college degree to enter into this field, but you do need some kind of training. Okay, and then the next one is associate's degree, and as you know, associate's degree is usually a 2-year degree. Okay, and then the next one is high school diploma or equivalent. So a high school diploma means you finished high school, and if you can't finish high school, you can also take a GED, which is called a general equivalency diploma, and that's equivalent or equal to a high school diploma. And then the next one, post-secondary technical non-degree. So this is similar to the first category. Okay, and then no formal educational credential, meaning you don't need formal or official training, you do need training, but you don't need official education to be a retail salesperson. Of course, when you're going to need some sort of training when you enter that job or that company, but you do not need an educational credential. And then the last one, of course, is the same as the second one, associate's degree. Okay, So take some time to read the questions and answer them. And when you answer them, I want you to practice making complete sentences. Okay, so pause the video and continue when you're finished. Okay, so let's take a look at number 1. Which statement is not true about the jobs in the chart? Okay, so we can see that the answer is letter B, I believe. Let me just double check. Yeah, okay. So it says 1 requires a bachelor's degree. Okay, and as you can see, none of them requires a bachelor's degree. And a bachelor's degree, as you know, is a 4-year college degree. Okay, so that's a bachelor's, and nothing here says bachelor's degree. So we can see that none requires a bachelor's degree. Okay, and if you want to just check to make sure, I know it says 1 requires an associate's degree, so that means that at least 1 requires an associate's degree. We know that 2 require an associate's degree, but it's not saying that that there are 2. It just means at least 1 requires an associate's degree. And then letter C, 1 requires technical training, and as we can see, this requires technical training, the medical assistant, so that's true. And then there will be more jobs in 2024 than in 2014. So if you look at the second category, job openings due to growth and replacements, we know that there will be more jobs because it says due to growth, and it also says job openings. So there will be more jobs. And if you look at the percent employment change, it's also positive. The numbers are positive and not negative. So we know that, yes, there will be more jobs in 2024 than in 2014. So all of the statements are true except letter B. Okay, number 2, which occupations will have the largest percent increase in growth from 2014 to 2024? So if you look at the numbers, we can see that 23.5 and 18.7 are the largest. Okay, so this one is medical assistants and this one is veterinary technologists and technicians. So if we find that here, that's letter B. So we can say veterinary technologists and technicians and medical assistants will have the largest percent increase in growth from 2014 to 2024. So make sure you're practicing those complete sentences. So again, veterinary technologists and technicians and medical assistants will have the largest percent increase in growth from 2014 to 2024. Okay, number 3. What is the growth in number of jobs from 2014 to 2024 for dental hygienists? Okay, so if we look at that number, it says 70. But if you remember, this number represents the number in thousands. Okay, so the answer is not A, the answer is D. So 70,000. Okay, so we can say 70,000 represents the growth in number of jobs from 2014 to 2024 for dental hygienists. And you can also say the number of jobs will increase to 70,000 from 2014 to 2024 for dental hygienists. Woo, saying this date range is a mouthful. It's a lot of words or a lot of numbers, so my mouth is really tired. Okay, and then number 4, what is included in this chart? Okay, so the answer is letter C. Okay, information about the amount of education necessary for certain jobs is included in this chart. Okay, we can see that there is no salary information. There is no information about the decline of certain occupations. Everything is increasing, not decreasing. So decline is not included. And then there is no information about the amount of work experience necessary for certain jobs. There's no work experience mentioned, only education. Okay, so letter C is correct. Okay, now let's look at exercise B. Alex has been working in a fast food restaurant for over a year. He works as a busser, cashier, and cook. He would like to be a restaurant manager someday, but that requires a high school diploma or equivalent. He dropped out of high school after 2 years. What should he do? Okay, so go ahead and take some time to think about some options and some answers for this problem, and then you can move on to part 2 of this video. Okay?